European leaders and delegates from all over the world are meeting to raise billions of dollars in aid for war-torn Mali. It's the highest-level gathering since France sent troops to intervene and aims to help rebuild a country still plagued by Islamists and rebel insurgents. With more from the summit in Brussels, RT's Tessa Arcelia.
Leaders from the EU and France, as well as international donors, are gathering today here in Brussels to drum up and get aid and support for Mali, a country which has been dealing with radical Islamist militants as well as a political crisis for the last couple of years now. Now, the French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius had said that the aim of today is to raise some 1.9 billion euros to give to the country in what he calls a quote-unquote an effort to build democracy, dialogue and development. Now, we know that France has been very much involved in the country, especially in the beginning of the year when it launched a military operation into the country, saying that they were there to fight off Islamist militants away from key cities. Now, France is also in the middle of withdrawing some 4,000 troops from the country. However, it does plan to keep about 1,000 troops in what is seen as a long-term kind of posting in the country. This is in contrast to what has been told to the French people in the beginning, who had given support to this military operation. They were told that it was going to be a short kind of operation. However, we have been speaking to some experts who are very familiar with counterinsurgency efforts and have had first-hand experience with them. And they've told us here on RT that it's very difficult for counterinsurgency operations to be a short kind of war, because as you drive out militants from key cities, they do have a tendency to just keep coming back. So there is a question of whether security is really in place.
The difficulty that any military intervention creates is that you chase the terrorists from one place and they move, they withdraw, they consolidate somewhere else where they are less likely to be attacked. Libya is in a state of chaos after the NATO intervention. It's an ideal place for them to go. They disperse, they conceal their weapons, their assets, they merge with the population, and they wait, because they know that sooner or later the intervention forces, whether they're French in Mali or American in Afghanistan, sooner or later the occupiers go home.
The French foreign minister insists that security is largely in place in the country. However, critics do question the extent of that kind of stability that Mali may be seeing at the moment. There is no argument among everybody involved that a stable Mali is in the interest of a secure region, the regional security. However, there is that question of how sustainable and how effective the efforts have been so far. There are also plans of having elections in the country in July. If and when that does happen, what kind of a democracy and system will be put in place, considering that the country is still facing some of those militant threats? It's not 100% out of the country. Also, since today is largely a fundraising activity, there are questions on the money. Now, are there mechanisms that will make it very transparent as to where this money is going to go and if it will actually reach its intended destination? A lot of questions that need to be answered as these leaders and international donors meet today here in Brussels.